So it is Saturday night, and I have two full whole chickens on a rotisserie outside over charcoal, kind of into this rotisserie open fire type of thing lately. We'll see how they come out. I don't know that I've ever done chicken on the rotisserie over charcoal, so it's going to take a couple hours for sure. So we got some time, but I was looking for a wine, or white wine I have tonight, and it seemed like I always open sort of the same stuff I always have, and then was looking through one of my wine fridges, my white wine fridge, and I saw one of these. I was using the Corbin on this, and it looks like it's been leaking. I hope this wine didn't over-oxidize. Now, what is this wine? It's a very aged white from Savennieres, Clos de Papillon, and it's a 2005, and it was pretty expensive, and I found it from a boutique wine store. So some maps that I haven't busted out in a while, but map of France, and you got Bordeaux down here, and then you got the Loire up here. So that's the Loire Valley, a little bit further north in France, northwest in France, and within the Loire, Savennieres is some area right in here that specializes specifically, and it's a tiny spot, specializes in the Chenin Blanc grape, which is what this is. Now, I had a Corbin of this, and I don't quite remember. Oh, it is aged, and it is funky, and it smells like all the things I love in an aged white. And this was in my refrigerator that's about 50 degrees. So before I do a little analysis of this wine, two updates from last night. The Peut-être Canet 2020 unfortunately never got better over the course of the night, which is very disappointing. I did look back to 2019 was the one I had, and I had a similar experience, except I didn't decant the whole bottle. The next night I went back to it, and it was phenomenal. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I gave that one a 4 out of 5. First time I've ever given a Peut-être Canet less than 4.5, or even a 5, really. It just was not hitting the sweet spot last night, and maybe that 2020 vintage is just not fantastic, but I'll buy another vintage or two and just see where it goes, and if it's something with the newer winemaking, or it just needs to age more in the bottle, or just decant more. Not quite sure. Not quite sure. The other thing was Napa's low 2022 was the lowest rated Napa Valley vintage I've seen since, I think, in the last 20 years. Let's say definitely 10 years. Probably closer to 15. So the 2022 vintage definitely is a vintage to maybe stay away from out of Napa. Apparently, there was a massive heat wave at the time near the end of the growing season, and it destroyed a lot of Cabernet. So I think this is more Napa Cabernet that was ranked very poorly in Napa, but maybe some of the other grapes also paid the price, unless they were picked before that massive heat wave that apparently burned up all these grapes. I don't know. But anyway, those were the two updates. And so it has like a honeycomb, fresh honeycomb. If you ever had honey from a fresh honeycomb and you kind of bite into it, there's like a waxy smell here, and there's that honey smell here. Oh, absolutely. When I am sick, I'll sometimes make chamomile tea, and I will add honey to it to really help soothe the throat or whatever other symptoms. And this kind of has a chamomile with honey smell, and that's probably because of the other component to it. No spice that I'm getting, or floral for sure. It's got a florality. Can't put my finger on the type of florality or flower. A little marzipan too, for sure, and a little bit. It's some type of, I think, persimmon here as well. I wanted to say mandarin skin, but I think that's a stretch. Bone dry. as you expect. Smells funkier and older than it tastes. Sometimes when I have one of these very, very old Chenin Blancs Rieslings, the aromas absolutely are in sync with the taste. This is not. This has a fresher taste than expected. I'm trying to look at the alcohol. 14.5. I knew there was definitely some alcohol in here. And if there's anything else worth mentioning. No, not really. Super long finish. Still tasting it. I feel like there is like pear. There's pear on the palate here. Yeah, I don't normally get pear from this, but there's absolutely pear here. No real citrus, but pear. So it tastes like there's viscosity to this wine, and it's probably some of the alcohol to do with that. It does feel fuller bodied-ish. It is definitely more fuller bodied than Chenin Blanc, than Riesling. This is Chenin Blanc. This is awesome though. So now I've committed to the whole bottle. I could definitely cork it, have some tomorrow. I'm not going to be decanting this. You could decant white. I don't really decant white. If I've decanted 2 ever, it's probably a lot. But I will definitely pair this with the chicken and see how it does. I don't think this is going to get better with the chicken. With chicken, I don't know if I want this much complexity in a white, since chicken isn't the most complex of proteins or cuisines, at least not a roasted rotisserie chicken. It's almost like there's tannin, but it's not. It's got a nutty bitterness to it, a phenolic bitterness on the back end here too. This is bone dry, and I think it smells like it won't be bone dry because of all that honey aroma, but there's no sweetness, zero. This is very, very bone dry and even a little bitter on the finish, but delicious nonetheless. I love this style. It's probably not for everybody, but I really like this. But I feel it. I could feel the alcohol. The 14.5 is there. It's more of a red wine ABV than it is a 2005. And maybe Loire was warm in 2005, where they picked these Chenin Blanc grapes later. Not quite sure what they did there. So, of the unboxing I did sort of recently, there was this one wine, and I looked up all the wines as to why I bought them, and I don't remember this Moulin de Cadet. I don't know where I even heard about that. Alpage Lebras, probably because that's a Pauillac. The Noble Nap, I have no idea. But I did look up this one, the Ackerman 2017. So this was from Koomsville, this was a $35, on sale to $35. So I'm always looking for that next cab that I could buy a case of for friends and bring it to someone's house that no one's really heard of. This is on a shelf or anything. It's probably a small production, I assume. 750 cases. That is extremely small production. So when I try it, if it's good and they have any left, maybe I order a case. I don't know. But I'm always looking for that next case, either Bordeaux, red, but for friends and family that sort of like that type of bolder style, fruit forward style. I go with something from California. So we will see how that one pans out for $35. You could find a $35 cab that's really good. I would buy it. I'm not saying you should drink it every day, but Leviathan is around that price point. I think Leviathan is fantastic. I think others like it a little more than I do, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a pretty solidly made wine for a Cabernet. Yeah, this wine's very, very interesting. Very interesting. Don't know how much more this would age. Acidity's there too. I think this could age even longer, but it's got that super aged feel and quality. But this isn't as good as the Kool-Aid of Syrah. So Nicolas Joly in the Savennieres has a wine called Kool-Aid of Syrah. It's probably in my top 5 favorite white wines I've ever had in my life. I had the 2009. I still got a few left. I had so many, but I liked it so much I kept drinking it. And then I just realized that wine, what I got it for, was almost free compared to what it costs now, which is quadruple what I paid for those. And I still have a handful left, maybe not even a handful, maybe 3 or 4, and that's in my top 5 white wines, if not top 5 wines I've ever had. I really, really enjoy it, and it's even funkier than this, and yet it's younger by 4 years. This does taste younger and fresher, but it still has a lot of the aged white wine qualities, just more on the nose than the palate. I mean, it is an aged white. Let's be fair. So that's it. Keep it a little bit shorter than normal. 2 days in a row. 2 wine videos, 1 red, 1 white. Last night wasn't so fantastic. Tonight, much better luck. Although I knew this wine was good because I had Corv in it, but because it was leaking, it's time to open up the whole thing and just enjoy it over the course of the night, and probably with the chicken. Have a good night.